Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this book, I will be talking about all the books that I read in the month of June. So I read a total of 4 books, and I must admit, I have to say, this month of June, the books were amazing. I had a really great reader month. Literally every single book that I read was at least a 4-star. Now, if you know me, I do not give high ratings so easily, but I must say I was happy. I was blown away. Even some books I was like, let me see, this is probably a hyped up book. You know what I mean? Because you know, when TikTok and Instagram start recommending you books, child, half the time I want my money back. I'm like, how is this book popular? How? But I must admit, 2 of the books that I read them because they kept coming up on my Instagram or on my TikTok, and I was like, you know what, let me just get it. And I was pleasantly surprised. But let's get started. The first book that I read is called Maame by Jessica George. This book was very good. This was definitely an Instagram that I just kept seeing, kept coming up on my feed. The people that I follow, they kept talking about this book. And I know that this book was a read with Jenna, for Jenna, is it Good Morning America or Jenna and whichever Jenna Bush show she's on in America. And I saw this book, and funny enough, I saw the interview with the author, and I was like, oh my god, she's British, so she's Ghanaian, and I was like, okay, definitely I'm gonna read this book. And I actually really enjoy this. So this book is basically about a girl called Maame. Mame's father passed away with Parkinson's disease, and from my understanding, the author said actually this is her true life. Her father also passed away from Parkinson, so I think some of the story was loosely based around her life. And basically Maame is in her 20s. You know, she was taking care of her father. Eventually her father passes away, and it's basically a father and daughter story. It's about Maame finding her voice, finding who she truly is. And one thing about Maame, she's working in publishing, or she leaves one job in theatre and then moves to a job in publishing, and kind of like figuring her way. It's about a book that deals with bereavement. It's about a book that deals with finding love. It's about family dynamics. Her relationship with her mother. Her mother is bad. I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to say, because the whole time her mother was in this character, I was giving the mother a side eye and the brother a side eye, especially the mother. Sorry, didn't care too much for the mother. Really was rooting for Maame. You will find yourself rooting for Maame. You'll find yourself rooting for Maame finding her voice, finding herself. You will root for Maame finding love. Man, I really love this book. I give it a 4 out of 5 star. I think the author did a great job of just kind of like us, the reader, diving into Mame's mind, you know, where she's struggling, where she's trying to find herself, and you're like, come on girl, you can do it. Come on girl, you can make the decision. Come on girl, you got this. So I love this book. I enjoyed it. I think I read it in the space of like 3 days. Very good. If you are in a reading slump and you want something that's quite easy and something that will keep you going, I would say definitely this is the book. It's not hype. If you've seen it in a lot of places, this book was good. Loved it. The next book that I read was As Long as the Lemon Tree Grows. This book, man, it got me. I ain't gonna lie, this book, it got me. So this book is about, the protagonist is Selma, and Selma was a second-year student when the uprising started in Syria. And it's basically talking about, the book is basically talking about how the war in Syria started. Oh, but this book, sometimes, I'm not gonna lie, I was crying in this book. I actually met the author at a book club. It was the Candid Book Club with Waterstone, and I didn't know this, but this book is actually a YA book. Say what now? A YA book, this book. So the author was telling us the reason why she wrote this YA book, because there wasn't really much anything in that genre about war and what happens to war in countries in the YA genre, and that's why she wrote it. And actually, when she explained it, I was like, oh, I get it. Like I understand. So basically, it talks about what happens when an uprising starts, when war starts, and man, I was crying. So we have Salma, who basically had lost the majority of her family through the war, and now she's gone from a second-year pharmacist student to now working in a war-torn hospital where there's hardly no medications, there's no doctors, a lot of the professional people have fled, and she's now basically like an A&E emergency doctor. And then we go through all these stories, all the patients that come into the hospital, and man, oh man, oh man, you will cry. You know, you're when patients make it, you're like hope. When patients die, you're like, I want to be done with this book. My heart can't take anymore. But man, it's a great. It talks about migration. It talks about hopes, dreams, and losses, and just even the psychology of war, like what it does to the brain, what it does to the heart when war breaks out from quote unquote a normal life. Because one thing the author does really well is she gives us a backstory of Salma, her life before the war, who she was, her family, and you're like, actually, this could be anywhere. This could be any place where people are living their regular life, and then this thing called war, this uprising happens. And you know what's really nice is that sometimes when an uprising is happening in most countries, us in the Western world, we don't know what's going on. And you know, there was the bit in the book where she's kind of saying, why can't the people outside the rest of the world hear our cry, hear our plea? And I guess, you know, for people who have gone through this, you know, for a lot of them, it's like, why is it nobody helping? Why is it no one coming to our aid? So man, this book, I cried a lot, and I definitely give this book a 4.5. I really enjoyed it. I think the author did such a great job of pulling us, the readers, into this world. Just the empathy, the rage, the sadness, the hope, all of these emotions that you kind of find yourself feeling all at the same time. I think the author did such a great job. The next book that I read in the month of June is called The Attic Child. So this one is a historical fiction. It's about two children that were locked in the same attic 90 years apart. So we have Celestine and we have Laura. Celestine was locked in the attic at the turn of the century, so 1905, 1907, while Laura was locked in the attic in the 90s, and man, oh man, oh man, oh man, was in the 80s. Oh, I can't remember, like, was locked in the attic like 90 years after Celestine. And it's about their journey, how they got locked into the attic. But what's amazing about this book and what the author did really well is that actually there's a lot of historical facts in this book. Yes, it's a fiction, but she did such an amazing job of weaving historical facts into this fiction book. When I was reading this book, I was Googling, seriously Googling non-stop. I was like, wait, that happened? Oh my gosh, that's real? It was good. I think, you know what, that's what made me love this book even more, was just the fact that I was Googling, I was finding more and more information, you know, and obviously the author changed the character's name, but man, oh man, oh man, you will love this book. I really enjoyed it. The only thing that I would say that I didn't like about this book, when it came to Laura's story, the girl who was locked in the attic in the 90s, I felt like that character could have done with a lot more development. I felt like the character was a bit slow. I felt whenever we switched to her story, it slowed the pace of the book down. So you're a bit like, oh, okay, let's pick it up. But when we were on the story of Celestine, I was just gobbling it up, because his story is mostly where the historical fiction is, the historical facts is based from. So I felt like his story was the best, but I did love how the two characters, their stories ended up intertwining, how they connected, like what brought them together. That bit was very well good. And just when they meet, which is not a giveaway, but when they finally do meet, you're like, oh my gosh, this is actually amazing. Another book, and the last book that I read for the month of June, is called Love After Love. This book was another internet book. Sorry, I said social media book that I saw on Instagram everywhere. I don't know, but if you guys know, June is the Caribbean Heritage Month. So when I was looking for books to read, I hashtag Caribbean read. This book came up quite a lot. I didn't know what this book was. Just because I saw it so many times in so many pictures, I was like, I'm just gonna get it. I picked it up, didn't read the blurb, got home, started reading. Did not know what to expect. This book did not disappoint. I loved this book. This book really is about family. What makes family? Who makes family? It's not about your conventional family. It's about the story of love, of lost, of grief, of hope, of finding happiness. This book is so good. There's a big twist in this book. It's not a giveaway. It's not a giveaway. But I did not see the twist coming. I was like, wait, what? What happened? But it's about 3 characters, Solo, Mr. Chayton, and Betty. And basically how these 3 individuals, you know, basically end up being a family and what makes them a family, and just the bond of love, of friendship, of hope, you know, of motherhood, of sonhood, so many bits. I love the book. If you are looking for a book that, you know, you will be like, man, I'm not putting this book down, I would definitely recommend this book. So I read a total of 4 books for the month of June. I would say this is probably my best reading month this year so far, just because these books were so good. They were absolutely good. Like I said, nothing less than a 4 out of 5 in this pile. So if you were looking for a book that you will love, please pick up one of these books. I'll link everything down below, and I will see you guys on the next video, and I will hopefully come back to let you know what I've read for the month of July. See you soon. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and let's get discussing down below on what books you have read for the month of June, what books you love, why, or what books you didn't love and why. And I'll catch you guys real soon. See you soon. Bye.